I've been having to some mandate, and so yeah.
I'm gonna let y'all go.
Okay, brother. We'll see you later. Yes, sir.
We're live on YouTube's up.
Good morning, YouTube.
Huh?
I told him good morning. I'm gonna put this up. We're good. Start your intro.
All right, we could be fully vaccinated by the end of May. Our president says.
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHFC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
We'll discuss Governor Abbott's latest announcement. President Biden says we'll have enough vaccine by the end of May for all adults in this country. All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show. Nice. I'm going to die from drinking my coffee. It's all your fault.
But your breath will be fresh. Well,
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Turn those up.
that was my job. I failed. I erred.
How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Let's do this.
Hey, folks, for everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. Reach out to the folks at the AT Deerland Feed Ranch Farm Store. Got it all. Walmart before Walmart existed. They've got it.
I have a feeling seeds will be flying off the shelves this weekend this week, because people are going to want to plant their gardens this weekend. And speaking of which, Matt Boucher will be in on Friday morning.
I still think it's 50-50. You say Boucher's coming in. You say he's making a comeback. I say that he told us 3 weeks ago that winter was over, and 2 weeks ago we had the biggest storm in the history of South Texas. I think it's 50-50 that Punxsutawney Matt doesn't see his shadow and doesn't come until the next week. I think he's still hunkering in shame that all the master gardeners, Neil Sperry said, Matt Boucher said it's time to plant. I'm planting. He did say when he said that, I don't think that's a good thing. Remember, he said, I think winter's over, and I don't think that's a good thing. Yeah. So, looking forward to having Matt on. He's a joy to be around, and he's one of the numerous people that work for the county that just really know what they're doing.
Plenty of them do. You going to get to the weather?
Yeah. It's no big deal. 39 in Victoria. It's going to be a beautiful sunshiny day. High of 72.
Nice. That's good.
It's a perfect day. It's a VEDC day.
Who's on this morning? Diane Tippett, first one in. Good morning, Diane.
Better, closer than we've ever been day.
Kendra Douglas, Richard King.
Great things are coming.
Judge Posey.
Right around the corner.
Mike Bloschke.
I'd love to tell you about them, but I can't.
Greg Garcia.
Thank you, and please grab a donut. They're stale.
Justin Glass.
And be safe on your way to work.
Amanda Smith King.
Thank you.
Lisa Poole.
Good morning, Judge Posey.
Scott Snow, Bobby Leister hanging out. Stephen Kidder.
I don't
steady at 731 YouTubers according to Leisterometer. Patrick Strauss, Marvin Mickish, BJ Nelson. Good morning, Chris Conrad. Robin Moore Knipling. Chris Conrad says he didn't get the notification on Facebook, but I got the notification on Facebook. So
but you know we're here. Do you need a note? Do you
know it was there?
Yes.
I saw it. But Robin Moore Knipling, Karen Webb, good morning. BJ Nelson wondering how she can get her top fan badge back. I don't know how that gets.
I don't know how that happens.
I think you claim them.
I don't know if we assign that or not.
I don't know, honestly. Tom Price, good morning. Adam Daughtry, Heather Monroe, Terry Murray, Clint Ives, David Glass, Matt Boucher, there he is. Jen Eager, Christina Wise, Pat Irby, Ron Sitka, Lorena Bargenbruch. Good crowd this morning. Great
Hello,
crowd
Pat
this
Irby.
morning. Happy hump day to y'all.
Pat Irby's the pickleball champion of Phoenix, the greater Phoenix metropolitan area. Do you mind if I just take a minute and kind of rant?
No, right.
It's not a violent rant. It's not an angry rant. I want you folks to understand that I am absolutely 100% pro Victoria Economic Development Corporation. I believe that Dale Fowler does tremendous work, is absolutely skilled at what he does, has the connections in Austin to affect development in Victoria, works hard, gets it, smart guy, backed by smart people. The money is there. He doesn't have anything to sell. Flash over to VISD. I believe that Quentin Shepard is absolutely the right man at the right time to lead this school district of mediocre, underperforming classrooms. It is what it is. Call it what it is. If you're Dale Fowler, come to Victoria. Well, we're kind of close to the coast. You can almost see the beach, and we've got great school. Well, you know, so then you've got Quentin Shepard, who's in the same pickle because Quentin needs to fix some buildings. He needs to rearrange some tax money to pay our teachers more. I get labeled sometimes, oh, Carter doesn't think our teachers are good. I do think our teachers are good. I think they need to be paid more. And I think in the long run, if you pay our teachers more, over the long haul, it is inevitable that you upgrade your teaching workforce.
Well, it's interesting that argument tends to work, you know, from the capitalist side of view. You pay better for better employees, but it seems to get lost in the teacher pay argument a little bit, doesn't it?
Right. It's like, oh, they're government employees. And it goes back to the stereotype of the old spinster school marm. You know, she was a homely German girl, and she just taught the kids so well.
Beulah Ballbreaker,
Right.
Porky's, right?
Exactly. Now, you bounce that over. One thing we have going for us, and I will echo Bill Posey, and certainly not a slight to J.J. Craig or Justin Marr. Maybe it's just a compliment to the people of the Victoria regional area. Violent crimes of many kinds were down 8.5% in 2020.
That's pretty significant.
You could say, well, people were stuck at home because of COVID. I can tell you that people were desperate and angry and frustrated too, that we didn't have the looting and the rioting and the stupidity that plagued some of these bigger liberal leftist cities. But hats off to Chief Robert Arredondo and to
Chief Craig,
and
to Sheriff
Justin Marr.
and
Great job.
former Sheriff T. Michael O'Connor. They
Absolutely.
all played a part, as did everybody else. You know, I don't know if they walk the beat anymore, but you know,
Chief does. Chief drives the car. You saw him on New Year's Eve. What a
They're on
dude.
patrol in the streets.
How about
I
that?
saw him yesterday at the Rotary Club.
Was he in full regalia?
Full regalia.
How does he walk with all
feather
those,
in the hat,
Yes.
everything. I mean, looked like Napoleon Bonaparte.
How does he walk around with all those stars on his lapel? It's like
I was trying to figure out how he manages to bend his knees with that saber so tight to his hip.
That's not a bulletproof vest. Those are his traps and his lats from carrying all those stars around on his collar.
Chris Conrad says paying people more does not always equate to better performance, especially when unions are involved. Just saying.
I don't disagree.
I don't disagree with that. Thankfully, though, teachers aren't unionized, at least not
In Texas.
in VISD, and probably not all of Texas. I know the American Teacher Federation is around, but they're more a lobby group than they are anything else.
Well,
Jay Nelson says, don't forget America's Sheriff Louderback.
Absolutely. Well, that's what it is they've driven it all down to Pinky over there in Refugio. They shove it all back down. But, you know, you got to wonder if Victoria, and I visited with Dale Zook yesterday. Dale Zook running for school board, and he had data. He's got data. He's really involved in understanding the numbers.
He's data driven.
And he pointed out that Victoria is like in the bottom 27% of teacher pay. It just shouldn't.
We're in the bottom 20% of the state in performance. I'm not saying, but is there a correlation?
I don't believe you throw money at a problem, but when you're like I am and you have complete confidence in the leadership, maybe you should unencumber them a little bit and let them run.
I mean, think about it from let's use pro sports model, right?
Yep.
Free agency. They don't give the worst free agents the best money.
Who do you think would be the LeBron of teaching? So when Brother Gary was teaching, he was probably the LeBron of teaching.
No, I think Brother Gary's probably more.
A role player,
No, Scottie Pippen.
Right. Okay, I can see that.
No.
James Worthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody likes him.
Yeah.
Maybe not the star, but
you can't win without him.
You can't win without him.
I like that. Brother G coming at you. Yeah. So just take that, folks, as when I say, closer than we've ever been. What have you done for me lately? It's almost an indictment of all of us. What have we done as a city to make Victoria a more desirable location? I mean, one thing that comes to mind,
John Stockton, there you go.
a lot of assists
That might be the
with,
yeah.
you know what, with no humor. Like one of the things we've done, white trash services in the last decade. Comes in, changes the way trash collection is done in the county. 550-1826, reach out to BJ Nelson and her team, Scott Nelson and his team, Craig, Carl and his team. There's probably a Craig over there too by now. They're growing so quick. But in the 5 contiguous counties to this one, Holiday Beach, Rockport, all that, what they do is they go down to Rockport, go to the beach for the weekend. They just drive a big company truck down there to save a couple of bucks, and they load up.
Well, they can throw everything in the back.
Sure, come back. White Trash Services is
550-1826. Give them a holler.
Allen's Wrecker Service,
578-6300. If you need a tow to anywhere,
and you're going to need it. Someday you're going to need it. Put that number in your phone. I put in mine AAAA Allen's. It's the first number that pops up. You're going to be frazzled. You might have a little bounce. 7 counties, says BJ Nelson. What?
I thought it was 6. Victoria and the 5 contiguous. Which one did we
I
get? Are
guess
we
now
Rockport
she's still
Holiday
there.
Beach? Is that
That's
Fulton?
7 counties.
Right,
Is that
I
it?
guess with Fulton that would be 7.
Or is she thinking about the greater Las Vegas metro area where she?
Maybe so.
I don't know. Today is Caldo Wednesday, folks. You've got to get to Veracruz. You got to get there early. You got to go in and set either Wade & Carter Caldo. They will bring it to you. It's fantastic. Today's a good day for it. It's going to be mild.
I wore my Caldo Eaton. I got my Caldo Eaton shirt in the truck.
Yeah, so that when you get it on you, you don't feel bad.
Yeah, and you can't see it
There you go.
because I do get it on me.
Then the VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, the only local owner and authorized AT&T retailer, are all part of the Hartman Communication Empire. They do a tremendous job. They're a tremendous family, and they are a very, very giving family that has really supported this show immensely. So reach out to all these folks, and then when you're happy, your car's where it needs to be, your security system works. By the way, I'm going to call her out. We have a VCS system at our home. T-Lap has gotten us back in the routine. The boys are old enough now that we have started setting the alarm again every night. Last night about 12:30, I'm like, what the? It's that thing screaming. I hear my mother go, I let Bentley out for a moment to go to the restroom. I'm like, Mom, Marion, Kennel, go back to your room. That dog. Anyway, that thing was going, wow, wow, wow.
Did you have to call them?
No, they call me, man.
Oh.
I mean, within seconds, they call me, and I'm like, hello, what's the code? We got it fixed up. But VCS companies put that in, and it's awesome. So once you're done with all that, take a ride in Texas Coast Limo.
Yeah.
Reach out.
575 Limo. Give Bob Constantine a call.
Yep.
For, you're looking for a ride around town. You're looking for the wedding trolley, which is awesome. Take my word for it. Nice benches inside. It's all white. I mean, fits the wedding motif to a T. But for any sort of travel arrangements that you need, they've got party buses of all sizes. They've got, let's just say you can't fly out of Victoria, to the chagrin of Lenny, but it's just not going to work out. Don't take your car. Don't pay for parking for 2 weeks while you're gone. Call Bob, arrange for door-to-door service there and back, and you'll save money. You'll save the stress. Let somebody else do the driving. Bob and Texas Coast Limo, and you'll look like a high roller when you step out of, at least until you get in line with all the other economy passengers.
There's my buddy Joe Mendenhall.
Absolutely way to go. So give Bob a call, 575 Limo.
Many of you from Victoria will remember Joe. He says teaching in COVID conditions is horrible. This is a 35-year school teacher. We already faced a teacher shortage with baby boomers retiring, and now additionally younger teachers are thinking of leaving the profession. All that's going to be left is you old guys, Joe. That's it. Well, we can talk history. I lived it. Joe was always smarter than we were.
Yeah.
We liked Joe a ton.
But, then I talk to teachers who are out of it, and the kids ruined it for them.
Well,
the lack
there's-
of respect, the lack of ability to discipline them with any, with any meaning or anything that mattered to right the behaviors. You talk about all of us having to do better to bring business to Victoria. All of us have to do better to get kids to learn.
the way to say it without condemning anybody is the increase in single parent households, the increase in two earner folks working out of the home households, the increase in the latchkey kid coming home because both parents are off at work.
I don't know. That was a big phenomenon in the 70s and 80s, and we never had the educational issues. that we
But
do
these
now.
are their kids. See, the kids that are in school now are the kids of those people that had all those issues in the 70s and 80s. See, that's 40 years ago, Ash. Those kids that were in junior high in the 8th grade, they now have kids in your high school. See how that works? And those kids, you're in the second generation of parental neglect, apathy, stupidity. And the next thing you know, you have to call it what it is. I've always said, you show me a kid below about the age of, I'll even go to 15. Show me a kid below the age of 15 that's a turd. I'll show you a parent that's not involved enough in that kid's life.
Probably so.
Now, you show me a kid over the age of 15 that chooses to go on and be a turd, that kid's just a turd.
Chris Conrad says parents don't raise their kids anymore. They expect schools to do it. And I would agree with that. And I think to a lesser or to a broader extent, they expect society to raise their kids rather than them.
And that's what the Democrats just hover on, just preying on the young. We're going to give you free phones. We're going to give you free health care. We're going to give you free PS5s. Just come on board. Vote for us. We're going to drop the voting age because your voice matters. No, it doesn't. Your voice doesn't matter at 16. Shut up, go to school, make good grades, and make something of yourself.
You're going to drop the voting age to 16, throw them in the armed forces, not to serve a 2-year apprentice program for when they're 18 so that they can actually join the forces as a full, gun-toting member.
You see all the love bubbles come up. Now I'll do
see
that.
that.
I'll tell you what I'll do that right there. Now I'll drop the age to enroll in the military to 16. If you enroll in the military at 16, you can vote. You can drink all the beer you want too. How about that? Let's do that.
No, I think it's more an apprentice program. I still don't think you need to vote at 16. Heck, science is now finding out your brain isn't fully developed till you're 25, and you look at some of the election consequences and results. Maybe we should raise the voting age to 25.
I'm behind that curve. I'm still not completely
No,
there.
I didn't want to go
Well,
there.
Joe Mendenhall makes a great point. Schools reflect issues in society. How much respect are we showing each other? So much truth in that as well. I love our fan base because I can get the bubbles going up by just saying something really conservative.
BJ Nelson says parents need to parent, not be their kid's friend.
That's true.
That's been going on for a long time. But yeah,
We talked to Carter the other day. He doesn't like you at all, so you must be doing a great job.
Exactly. You dragged him out here at 7 o'clock in the
He's
morning,
like,
early,
"Hello."
6 o'clock in the morning, and here he was.
BJ Nelson says you shouldn't vote unless you pay taxes. Now, a really astute kid would say, I buy stuff all the time. I pay taxes.
Yeah.
You can't say property taxes because if it's property
That's a
taxes,
poll
it's
tax.
a poll tax. I'm with you, though. I agree that it's just a mess. It's hard
I
being
paid tax on my pack of hockey cards when I was a kid.
a public school
Actually.
teacher gets the entire spectrum of society. Very difficult. And I am not positive that simply paying each teacher an extra 10 grand a year is going to make them a better teacher or attract a better teacher. But
But if the argument works for the private sector, as we so often hear it does, look at Alabama. Well, we got to pay Nick Saban or he's not staying here.
yeah, that's true. What
Chris
is
Ray Brissett says y'all need to stop. At 18, pushing boots is hard enough. Kids at 18 are so immature today. It's not like when we grew up.
well, it's
I
true.
was pretty immature.
I was pretty immature too.
Still am.
Yeah.
I still laugh at things that
You
More
got away
mature.
with.
middle-aged men wouldn't laugh at.
Do you still every now and then just like toot in bed and giggle?
I sleep so soundly. I don't notice these things.
Jeremy Pena checks in from San Antonio. That's good. You hardly merited
You
it.
know.
He was like in Yorktown the other day. That hardly merits a shout out. But when you call us from San Antonio, that matters.
Well, he was just probably hanging with Fonzie. So
Peter McNally says more voter suppression. He doesn't believe that. He was involved in the public schools for years and knows what we face.
yeah, before we get to Don Nicole says I'm more mature. Yeah, but women are always more mature.
Yeah, but she's also 20 years young.
No, that's what I'm saying. She's probably about as no. She's more mature.
Neener, T-Lat. Neener.
Sebby says you do you, boys.
Right.
All right, just be yourself. But before we get into that, I think interesting. The Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday. What Arizona Republican Party versus the DNC for voting. I had it somewhere.
You had it somewhere?
Yeah, and I lost it this morning. I was going to talk
I
about
had
this.
it. Whoa, but I lost.
Chris Conrad says 18-year-olds are exposed to much more, but they're not necessarily more mature or smarter.
Correct. And the fact is, we've already talked about it. If you let 18-year-olds vote, they're all going to vote Democrat. All of them. They're not going to vote educated.
Oh, and yeah, Steve Kidder probably not checked in, but let's see if I can find my.
While you do that, don't
Please,
forget,
yeah,
you need
I'll
the law
find this because this
offices.
is important. This is voter.
You need the law offices of Steve Kidder. If you reach out, if you have a contract, a civil matter, a criminal matter, even a traffic ticket, you can call Steve. He'll talk to you about it. He may tell you that ain't worth fighting, man. You ain't winning that one. But he'll tell you straight, and he'll tell you he understands how to navigate the court system. You think you're going to go down there and represent yourself? You're going to lose. Don't represent yourself unless you want to lose. Reach out to the law offices of Steve Kidder. Razor IT Solutions can help you with all your encryption needs, monetizing your Facebook page, helping you make money off your website, tying those things together, putting them all into your QuickBooks, and he can do it all very reasonably. If you've got merchandise to sell and you want to sell it on the web, you can make it back so quick with Razor IT Solutions. And then Complete 360 right next door here, next to Ravens at Woodlawn, and right up the street next to Buffalo Wild Wing, you've got Complete 360. They're nutrition stores. You can buy supplements. But the key thing is, like yesterday, I left here and I went and worked out because T-Lat told me you're still fat. So I went and worked out. And when I was done, I stopped by the Healthy Bar right over here, and I grabbed a strawberry, banana, and whey protein smoothie. That was my breakfast. It worked well. I felt good all day. I was plenty. I was not hungry until lunch. And
How many of them did you have?
7. But I also had a shot of seagrass. Anyway, if you reach out to Complete 360, they're doing a great job. The other day, Brandon told me that this new location, he goes, it's crazy how quick we're growing. I said, no, it's not. You're on Wade and Carter. And he said, we had
Story.
100 customers on that like random Thursday. And they're averaging almost that now. The food is super fresh. They make it while you wait, and you don't wait very long. It's certainly an easy in and out at lunchtime if you want to try something good. What else? That's good. Atzhauer since 1926,
They've been
Victoria's
there.
dealer.
Selling Chevrolets. They along the way added Cadillac, Mitsubishi, Mazda to the stable.
Absolutely. They've got a tremendous volume of pre-owned vehicles that are great. Lots of SUVs on the lot. And if you've got an extra $1.25 to spend, they've got a brand new Corvette sitting over there in the showroom that's already polished up and ready to go. The car is very subtle. It's a 3LT, which is the highest level of, the leather dash, the leather door panels.
Black on black on black.
It's black on black on black with some red piping and red seat belts. And then when you get inside, you look at it and there's like subtle, which is classy looking to me. The inlets on the side are wrapped in a different metallic black than from any distance. It just looks like a black car, but it's got the graphite or the carbon fiber on it. It's hot.
Was it automatic or standard?
I think they're all automatic now. It's got a paddle shifter.
Okay.
It's very, very fast.
All right.
Look at that cloud coming in and enveloping our fifth floor here.
There is a fog warning in effect.
Look at it. You see it right now. It's falling across the top of one O'Connor Plaza. Look to your right over there. It really is dropping down. That is crazy.
Ceiling's getting lower.
Roger. What's your vector, Victor?
So the Supreme Court yesterday heard oral arguments in Brenovich versus DNC, a consolidated case. This is from C-SPAN. On the legality of 2 Arizona voting laws. Both prohibit voter ballots submitted at incorrect precincts and third-party collection of ballots, often referred to as ballot harvesting. U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled these restrictions negatively impact minority voters and as such is in violation of the federal voting rights. The justices, though, have through June 2021 to issue a ruling. I don't know what they did yesterday. I didn't see anything.
I don't know. Pete McNally said they ruled against the GOP in Arizona, but that I was going to be in the news.
I think that was the Ninth Court, right?
So let me ask you a question. Let's see right here. Look, right there. Supreme Court ruled against GOP. Pete's pretty smart.
I didn't see that on the headlines this morning.
He must have like family money because he's too smart to be a Democrat. Jan Thurman Egger says, "Hey, what are your thoughts on a teacher assigning an assignment to an elementary child to do a report from a CNN news channel? Do you think that teachers should designate a certain channel?"
They used to when we only had 3. They told you to use CBS, ABC, or NBC.
Or they'd say, "Listen to what Uncle Walter has to say tonight."
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know the circumstance. I think it makes sense.
I think if you're trying to have some constraints and make sure that everybody's using this, I mean, it makes sense in a way. No different than when they used to tell you to use, the Britannica Encyclopedia in the library to do your research, right?
Well, right there, Kathleen Leininger says what everybody's thinking. Not at all. It tells you the teacher's slant to educating and how they will grade the assignment. There is no doubt, and it is very difficult to argue any other way, that factors outside of the classroom teacher's control have turned public schools into indoctrination studios. I do believe that.
I would be more interested to know what the story was, that rather than the source of that story or what they were trying to write on. I mean, if your boss tells you, "Hey, this is what I need from you," you can't go. He wants A and B. You can't give him C and D and expect to keep your job very long. I mean, to me, it's training for life. Here's the parameters of what I'm asking you to do. Do it. I'd be more concerned on what, were you praising the Chinese Communist Party in your papers?
Right.
I mean,
BJ Nelson points out CNN is in many schools. They played in the morning in the classrooms. They support the schools monetarily, so they're getting viewers at a young age. It only takes one generation to swing it. I mean, I'll tell you, if we allow Texas to go blue, it'll never come back. It just won't. It'll never come back. And the country will go blue.
CNN's ratings are only where they are because they're in so many airports. I mean, that's half their money. Which is interestingly enough, all those networks ratings are down considerably since Donald Trump left office. Yeah. Nobody's tuning into the daily press briefings.
She's going to circle back to that.
The pundits and the talking heads are still lashing out at Trump because they have nothing else to cling to.
Right. They got no agenda.
He's made one appearance since he left office on January 22nd. Wasn't it 22nd?
Yeah.
That was at CPAC over the weekend. He has done nothing. He's taken Joe Biden's playbook and hidden his basement bunker down in Mar-a-Lago. But he's done nothing. He hasn't made any appearances and made any statements. Nothing. But the pundits are still on him because that's the only way they can drive any ratings. The ratings have fallen 50 to 60% since Inauguration Day.
Well, Joe's not interesting.
Well,
Losing jobs isn't interesting. Closing pipelines isn't interesting. It's boring.
But they know that their jobs are now on the line because when the ratings continue to tank, they'll make changes and they'll get rid of that guy who's making $9 million a year and built that up on 4 years of orange man bad syndrome, Trump derangement syndrome. Now you lose half your audience. You can't pay that guy $9 million a year or that woman $9 million a year anymore. Something's got to give, and it usually isn't the executive making the decisions. It's usually the on-air personality who gets canned. So they're
That's
trying
exactly.
all they can do to save their job. And that's why they continue to harp on Trump, because that's what drove their ratings.
Yeah.
Biden is bad for left-leaning news channels.
It makes our show so easy to do because you just come in and, I mean, even when he's not doing anything, you just get the lunacy of the left. Jeff Fonseca says smoothie for breakfast, Burger King for lunch. You know, I have to admit something, and I hope Dawn's listening because this is a true admission. I bet I haven't eaten at a Burger King in 15 years, and I never got upset with them. I just don't remember. I can remember distinctly the unique taste of a Whopper, but I just don't ever crave it.
Charbroiled.
Right. Meat-like product. I
I haven't
don't
tried that one.
ever crave that. Well,
Chris
that's
Conrad's
a good
parents had
point.
asked if the next assignment will be using Fox or the Daily Wire or another
Right.
alternative news source. I agree.
I like
think,
that.
Yeah, let's balance. But to me, the content of what you're asking for is more important. If you're at, I'd like to know what the assignment is, like I said, rather than.
When you see what Robin Moore-Kniblik says, yep, training for college when you realize very quickly that your opinion often doesn't matter if you want a decent grade. Many times you must play to the professor's views. That's been going on for years and sure hasn't gotten any better.
You know what? Cite your sources and you'll get a good grade. That's where I learned quickly that if you don't cite your sources, you're going to get an F.
Right. But I'll tell you that all three of my older kids, all three of them in their tenures at A&M had periods where they struggled. Now, make no mistake now, Texas A&M is not a right-leaning university in the classroom. Do not kid yourself. It is not a conservative bastion of freedom as you might want to kid yourself. But I'll tell you that all three of my children, the older ones, they all had to learn what the professor wanted, not the material. And by the way, I've told them, I said, that's once you get it, that college is about teaching you to learn, not teaching you that stuff, you've got a chance.
Stephen Kidder says Trump's bunker is better than Biden's bunker. So much better. The best.
It's a super bunker. It's better. It's deeper. And there's no grass on the edge. Yeah.
Kevin
Donald
Iger
was
says
great.
teaching kids to limit the search parameters and they are only able to regurgitate a certain narrative. Yeah, but like I said, that used to happen when we were in school and they told you to go use the Britannica Encyclopedia in the library. I mean, you're trying to control variables in some way. I'm more concerned about what they're asking them to research.
You know, as we work this Trump impersonation.
We use the CBC all the time in class. They had a program in Canada called What's New. It was a news and events program designed for school kids.
When you try to work Trump's little impersonation, you got to learn to do his asides. He'll say something like, and everybody looked at it, and it was super duper. It was the best, I tell you. And it's going to get better. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. But when it's done, super duper. Operation Warp Speed. They all love me. They love me. Are you kidding me? They love me.
That's the aside we were missing.
Yeah.
You gotta bring it back to
you. Got to bring it back to
me.
him.
Yeah.
I did things. When I say I always mean we. But I did things no president's ever done. It's a movement.
Steve Kidder says Jen Psaki sometimes doesn't show up to her own press conferences. I mean, she's there, but is she really there?
Why does she look so much like Mark Zuckerberg? That bothers me. It bothered Dawn. She goes, look at this picture. Look at it. Look at it. I was like, I am looking at it. She goes, no, really look at it. They look the same.
Should we take our final break and then move on to Governor Abbott's latest edict yesterday?
We need to get Pete McNally on the show sometime.
I'd like to know where he's finding this.
I
did not see anything on Justice Barrett telling a lawyer from Arizona to take a hike.
I want him to explain to me how it can be that the Republicans are always wrong. And not only that, the Democrats are always right. I want to figure that out because that sounds kind of sheepish to me. Look at that. Moral counterplan is almost gone. It was a foggy day.
Ceiling's getting lower.
It was a foggy day when death crept upon me. Thank goodness I'd already reached out to Dana Moore de la Garza. I already had my plot at Memory Gardens. I already had my plans for internment.
Are you? You're ready. You're ready to go, huh?
I'm doing it. I'm ready. Prepaid, postage stamp on my rump, ready to go to the great beyond. I'm going to be cremated. I've got a joke for that. We'll share it later.
All right.
No, folks, reach out to Dana Moore. Here's the number: 652-9157. If you reach out to Dana Moore de la Garza, she can walk you through personally, privately, in the comfort of your home. She'll come to you. She will walk you through. Do you need a plot? If so, I can help you do that. Do you want to be buried? If so, I can help you with that. Prepay that. Get the coffin picked out. You can choose your coffin. You don't have to wait for them to go. You kidding me? Get them to Pine Box. You can do all of that from the comfort of your home, and she will help you. 652-9157, Dana Moore de la Garza. She's like a death broker. She's there for you. It's going to happen.
It is.
So don't let it upset you. And don't think that by ignoring it that you're going to make it, you're not going to deter it. It's going to happen.
I think the sooner you come to realize that death is just an inevitable part of living,
Yeah, then you go take care of your business.
and I think you're more at peace with yourself.
But in the interim,
I think those that are afraid of dying are the ones having the problem through this COVID pandemic.
we're just going to prop you up against the jukebox,
That's all I want. Sand in my boots. Let me stand there for a few days.
right?
40 days and 40 nights. That's
Like
the way I
James
want it.
Brown. Ow!
I'm going to actually have, people don't know this, but I'll make the announcement now. They're going to lay me in state next to Lennon
Right.
when I'm gone.
Nice. You've earned it.
That's my pay. That's my final payback for my service to the motherland.
You've earned it. Motto Mortgage, Terry Murray and her team can reach out and help you, whether you want to read it. They cannot help you with a construction loan. We were
We
wrong.
learned that. We were wrong.
But-
I was fed that. I was fed fake news.
Garbage in, garbage out.
But once the construction's done, they can help you with the permanent loan. So they can get that for you, and they've got lenders that will fight for your business and give you the best rates that they can. Not literally fight. They may go rock, paper, scissors.
If she was going to do it, she would be terrific. You can't spell terrific without Terry. She'd be super duper better than it's ever been, but she doesn't do construction loans. Reach out to Terry Murray, Motto Mortgage.
But they're working on that. I'll
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
that right now.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
She'll
Always.
help
They want to help you for all your mortgage needs right now. Conventional financing. You want refi. You want to get cash out of the equity in your home.
Reverse mortgage.
They can do it all.
She can introduce you to Tom Selleck. BJ Nelson says, you can have your dog with you. We'll have his dog standing around in state.
They'll all
Went
be there.
Services. Went Services.
I'm gonna
is
have them
so
all
busy.
bronzed like the baby shoes back in the day. Remember that?
Nice, like King Tut. Wind Services is so busy, but you do need to get in the queue now so that you can have a whole house generator before storm season. We're down to about 80 something days. Folks, I believe we're going to have an active hurricane season. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be negative now. I'm just telling you. Reach out to Wind Services today. Get in the queue. Get a quote. It's not binding. They're not going to make you buy it. But you'll be amazed at what they can do with 22 kilowatts.
And how affordable that peace of mind really is.
Absolutely. USA Concrete Coatings in the more immediate. Seal up the cracks in your garage floor, get all that grease off of it, put down a solid polyurethane coating that's stronger than epoxy, 4 times stronger. With Flex in it, it won't be slippery. It's antimicrobial, it's antibacterial, it won't stick to your tires, it won't peel or crack. Folks, they've mastered this. It is the surface for your garage. People are using it on pool decks, front porches, back patios, in rooms where you have high traffic. I've seen it in businesses on the floor. Reach out to USA Concrete Coatings. And don't forget the Gray Barn. Cheryl can make your next party memorable. Your event. She loves doing weddings. 920-6803. That's the Gray Barn.
She thrives with weddings.
She does like weddings. I guess she's trying to find one that works after being married to you for 25 years. How many is it now? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's coming up on 25.
Wow, what's that going to cost you?
Trip to Spain,
$3 night.
Portugal.
Well, I've never been to Spain.
Peter Rinaldi says MSNBC Morning Joe. There's a guy. Well, yeah, there's a guy who's probably in fear of losing his job. Peter, he's one of those whose ratings have absolutely
Yeah.
plummeted.
But he's not. He's unbiased
Yeah.
and just honest
You know,
news. There's no slant.
No. What's interesting with this, these cases began in 2016. We're 5 years down the road and the wheels are still turning.
Well, that's the deal. The government delay. You watch, folks. Hunter Biden never face a day of courtroom. You watch. Hunter Biden will never grace a courtroom with any accusations while his daddy's in office. You can bet on it. The elite laugh at you. You don't get it. You think there's justice in Washington, D.C.? Phooey. It's just ignorance. People like Hunter Biden will never see the light of day. It's over. Bill Clinton showed us that. The Clinton Foundation shows us that.
Yeah, I'm reading Business Insider, and they say the justices on the court probe both sides on the impacts of the voting laws on minority voters and what standards they think should be applied to determine whether the law is discriminatory and wrongly denies minorities the opportunity to vote in violation of Section 2. So I don't see where, but they seem to think that the conservative majority on the court will let the laws stand.
Well, we need to do whatever we need to do to get to the point where we're all just Americans. I don't have any friends anywhere that I say, he's a nice guy. He's one of my favorite minorities.
I struggle with the concept of, if you've got to have power of attorney for anything else you want to do, if you're physically or mentally not capable.
Right.
But for something as important as voting on the future of this country, we'll just let anybody handle your ballots. Come on in. Do we need to verify your signature? No. In fact, we're going to throw that first envelope away so that if they ever decide to audit us,
that envelope's gone.
That envelope's gone, and there's really no way to audit. Look at the process. Well, all we can really do is recount the votes. Yeah, that signature there, that's the one. We have nothing to verify it against. But yeah, it looks good to me. It looks like somebody wrote it.
Yeah.
That's basically how the verification of signatures goes when they throw away the outer envelope.
Yep.
Oh, that looks like a legit signature. Next. Yep. Good signature. Next.
You listen
the process is stupid. If you really think about it, we're going to recount the votes. What do you find?
When you listen to somebody, you get into mathematics and you get to the 95th percentile, the 99th percentile of what is plausible. Donald Trump did a pretty good job at CPAC the other day, throwing out some data that we've tried to share with you folks over the last year. And one of the things that he pointed out as far as the election goes is that, pick the numbers, I think it was 26 out of 26 House seats the Republicans retained. And they added 15 new House seats. And people don't go out to vote for a rep in record numbers and then vote against the president that he's with. Mathematically, it doesn't happen. You could have a situation where a guy could say, I'm voting for Michael Cloud, but I ain't voting for that Donald Trump guy. That could happen. But don't forget, Trump got 12 million more votes, almost 20% more votes in 20 than he did in 16. So his numbers go way up, and Joe Biden somehow gets 80 million votes and 30 million votes more than Barack Obama got. Come on, man. You believe that?
Not at all.
I don't believe that garbage for a minute.
And Barack Obama is still considered to be widely the most popular president among Democrats ever. So how can you make that statement, which I heard the other day from a Democrat in an interview, and then sit there? That you can't make that statement if Joe Biden's getting 80 million votes, right?
Right. If Joe Biden got 80 million votes,
he's the most popular
president ever. And if you don't believe him, ask Shirley Jackson Lee. Reach out to Shirley, his close friend of 40 years there in Congress.
Yeah. Just down the road in Houston.
That guy, bless his heart. I mean, he's done. He's a bonehead. I'd love to debate Joe Biden. I wish Joe Biden would call up here. Joe Biden on a mobile. Who is this? Scranton, just a kid from Scranton.
Born there, left there, never grew up there.
Oh, he's lived over half his life in a condo in Washington, D.C. It's like when Al Gore says he's from Tennessee and he wears cowboy boots. Liar! Your daddy was a politician.
You look so awkward in cowboy boots because
Yeah.
his jeans are
Always
that
too
much
short.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
way too short.
Crazy town.
Yeah. Looks like every oil executive in Calgary in Stampede Week.
Right? Because they're wearing the same suit, but their pants are too short.
Patrick Strauss asked if we talked about the California crash, 25 people in one 1997 Ford Expedition. No,
We didn't talk
I
about
didn't
it.
even see that one.
Did that actually happen? I mean, Patrick, tell us what's up. Yeah. Could have California. You got to believe
Yeah,
it.
I saw this over the weekend. I think Stephen Kidder tagged me in it, but BJ Nelson says there's a forensic audit in Arizona that's processing to find out what'll happen. I mean, we call for that. I mean, last week we said the recounts are nothing. They're meaningless. You're gonna have to dive into the actual process.
Right.
If a forensic data is good enough for Victoria County in the wake of Harvey, it's where's the outcry?
There is none because the Democrats would be the ones that are inconvenienced.
Yeah.
The left is inconvenienced. They don't want the outcry.
I think it was Sean Hannity with Biden, and he pointed this out. I was listening to a little bit of him yesterday, and I don't make a habit of it, to be honest. But this part was interesting.
Wow,
and
13 dead. Really was 27 people.
happened yesterday, and it stuck with me. But he said the reason you just saw nothing of Biden as he was getting ready for the debates was because they were hiding him and manipulating his internal clock so that his most cognitive moments would be at 9 Eastern
I believe that.
to whatever 11 Eastern
I
in the
believe that.
PM, so that he could actually perform in those debates.
Yeah, they reset his clock.
Yeah, and I mean, all you have to do is look at where he was last Friday. Talking about going for dinner and then saying good afternoon. Oh, it's evening. I mean,
Yeah, he's been reprogrammed. Scott Tomko says he might be done or brain dead, but he's not done damaging our country. A lot of truth in that.
absolutely not. Yeah, I don't know enough details on that, Patrick, to talk about it. We'll probably have to get into that a little bit more.
There was more 18-wheeler go. We're getting the news straight from the
Yeah.
source right here. Look, in an expedition with center and back seat out, it was packed like sardines, 27 people. They hit an 18-wheeler and 13 people are dead.
So it was either a collegiate frat stunt to see how many people they could fit in an expedition,
And it was only about 10 miles from the border.
but colleges aren't in session, so the frat houses are probably empty. Before Patrick said that, my guess is from living around here and seeing similar type of
Human trafficking.
yeah, it's probably a human trafficking issue.
Everybody scraped together 1,500 to get in that expedition. It'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
How would you get that many people in a car anyway?
They lay them down like Lincoln logs.
Is that right?
So I've been told. It's not how we did it in the KGB.
I'm not sure I want to be on the bottom.
Biggest people on the bottom.
18-wheelers usually win. Kendall used to want to be a cheerleader before she became a power forward. Kendall, she quit cheerleading because they wouldn't let her be the birdie. She wanted to be the one they threw up in the air.
Yeah, but the
Like,
problem was
Kendall,
nobody could throw her. She's
Come on,
6 feet
Kendall.
tall.
I told her, well, that's one dimension. I told her, Kendall, players play, cheerleaders cheer. I go, you need to get out there and play ball, girl.
Trey Molina says he got a second vaccine shot yesterday, hasn't grown any extra limbs. Do feel like a truck ran over him today.
Interesting.
Moderna or
They've changed your DNA.
AstraZeneca.
Trey. Don't worry.
No, the RNA.
Oh, your
DNA 's
RNA. Your RNA's been changed.
good. DNA's good.
Right.
So Governor Abbott yesterday says starting next Wednesday,
Why not starting
right in
tomorrow?
time for Caldo Wednesday next week. No masks. Businesses can open up back to 100%. But if we get back to 15% above, and I don't know. I mean, he was speaking out of both sides of his mouth
He has to.
yesterday.
He's trying to recurve. He's trying to get some votes back.
Yeah. And I think partially, the timing of it. He doesn't want to be the governor that killed 2 straight spring breaks for the
Correct.
tourism industry in Texas.
Correct, 100%.
And I mean, that was the first blush for me was he doesn't want a second spring break decimation of that seasonal economy.
Well, but I'll give you a great example, Ash. I have no problem. I go to Veracruz.
Jeremy Levitt says people get all twisted when you call it gene therapy and not a vaccine.
Right? When I go to Veracruz, I wear a mask in. There are folks of all ages at Veracruz, but there is a consistent, reliable group that are elderly, older than me. To make them comfortable, to make people feel welcome, I wear the mask. It doesn't bother me a bit. And Veracruz requests that you wear the mask. But that is their prerogative. We don't need the state government, the governor of the state mandating. Texans don't like to be mandated to. So I applaud him for doing what makes certainly political sense, is allowing the businesses to police themselves, allowing Texans to use the common sense God gave us, and to move forward. I don't think that the government ought to be telling us what to do. So good for him. It is too late for him. Remember when it was just going to be 14 days, and Joe Biden was a big proponent.
Had to flatten the curve.
We got to flatten the curve. Yeah.
I think all we've done is prolong the inevitable.
He talked about 2 million people dying. Well, he's only off by 4,000%. It's no big deal.
Got to trust the science, right?
Yeah, trust the science, and let's quit.
But I mean, then you've got the UK telling you. I mean, Dr. Fauci a couple of weeks ago or a week or so ago. Well, we got to be wearing 2 masks. Where have been the trust the science folks who absolutely blasted President Trump when he wouldn't wear a mask or didn't wear a mask when he was speaking? Because I mean, to me, that's
Remember they got mad at him because he wasn't wearing a mask on the patio, the upstairs balcony of the White House. He came out of the living quarters of the White House to wave to the crowd. He's not wearing a mask.
He's going against the recommendations of Fauci.
Stupid.
So how come nobody's getting mad at Biden for not wearing 2 masks when he shows up somewhere? Because he's now going against the recommendations of Fauci. And soon now the folks in the UK are saying, "Oh, you got to wear 3 masks." To me, doesn't that just tell you masks don't work?
Absolutely.
If you got to stack mask upon mask upon mask upon mask upon mask upon mask,
they don't work.
Masks aren't working, obviously.
By the way, Marie Day says, "I will never applaud Hot Wheels again. He has shown his real colors." I did not know they called the governor Hot Wheels.
But apparently the Dallas County judge was telling hospitals to reduce their ICU beds so that he could try to get their numbers up above the 15% threshold of the state. And I don't think he was telling them to pull beds out of service, but probably to reduce them back to the normal numbers as opposed to the increased numbers to deal with COVID.
Right. See where we are with the real numbers.
Yeah. Which, if you need capacity because of COVID, it may not be illegal. I certainly think there's probably some ethical boundaries that have been crossed on this one.
Right. What did Steve Kidder say?
I don't know. I was looking to see what Scott Tomko said about that. He said Biden can't find the one he takes off to speak. Surely he wouldn't find a second one.
Yeah, Steve Kidder says the trust the science folks are busy writing up new genders because that's science. Hey, X and Y is boy, Y and Y is girl. Let's move forward from that, right? If you have a hard time, sorry.
No, I'm just.
It makes sense to me.
BJ says that's what I never understood. We weren't trying to solve the problem. We weren't thinking ahead. Herd mentality is the only solution. I bet Fauci takes hydroxy.
Oh, I guarantee it. What's good for him?
Vitamin C. Yeah,
absolutely. Gets a little sun every day. He's got a great tan.
President Biden says we'll have enough vaccines by May for everybody.
Would you take it? You ready to take it?
I'm not convinced yet.
I don't know.
I don't go out and buy the first model year of a vehicle either.
That's why you're not driving that black Corvette.
I want to wait for next year's.
Give you 125,000 other reasons too, but that's the main one.
That's the main
you don't want the first year.
But
Tommy Taylor says all those cars are made on Monday. They buy them fresh. They're not the Friday leftovers.
From February to August. They don't buy them on the Monday.
Right.
Well, it's Bowling Green, Kentucky, so they're good.
They're perfect.
Yeah, it's just
It is.
You know.
It's a befuddled time that
It
we
is.
live in. It's
And-
okay.
And we've treated this virus unlike any other virus in the history of viruses. We've done absolutely everything the exact opposite of the way we've done anything for viruses, and the things that they've taught you.
That sounded like something Donald Trump would say. We've treated this virus differently than all the viruses in the history of viruses. It's a bigger, better virus. It was put upon us by China. It's the Chinese virus. That's what I call it. What are they going to do to me? Nothing.
But to me, the government just absolutely didn't give people enough credit to take the lifelong lessons that we've been told by your doctors, teachers, others when it comes to a virus. Wash your hands, stay away from people when you're sick.
Right. Don't drink after somebody.
Don't go into crowded areas. Do the
Right.
things that you do with every other virus. And I'm
When
not
the
getting
flu breaks out.
Yeah, it's not the flu. You can't call it the flu because then they'll come and cancel your culture because you're calling it the flu.
Come
I'm
at
not
me,
saying that.
bro.
I'm not saying that at all. But all the things that we do for every other virus except Ebola, which that one's pretty bad, but this one is not Ebola. But we trust the science, but we didn't trust 100 years of science when it comes to viruses. In this one, we've made it up.
Yeah. And every time that we have another one, it's going to be, oh, this is the next
Yeah.
COVID. So let's start right now. Let's lock down everything. That's what's going to happen.
We
Well-
said it from day one. The cure is going to be
Worse than
worse
the disease.
than the disease, and
Yep.
it's certainly turning out that way. There was a story out of Alberta where the number of deaths of young males, not COVID related, way above the norm from mental health, suicide, and other issues.
That calls probably for Brother Gary and the Hall of Famer Ralph
Yeah.
Salazar. We'll
I'm
take
sure they want to.
Good morning. We're the show before Brother Gary and the Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar. How can we help you? You want to talk to Brother Gary? I understand that, man.
He'll be on in just a couple minutes.
Before we let you go, though, do you listen to Wade and Carter? Oh, you didn't? Oh, well, tell me this. Is there anybody because you're going to get double the bang for your buck today. Is there anybody we can give a shout out to for you on Wade and Carter on our way out? And then you can call back and talk to the Hall of Famer and Brother Gary. I will do
All
it.
right.
Yes, ma'am. And you call back, okay? Yes,
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good
How
day.
about that? Nice lady wants to give a shout out to Brother Gary Moses and the Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar for the boys. There you go. That's our cue to get off the air, folks. Because
Our listeners hold us accountable.
that's what's happening. All right, you folks have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And get out to Veracruz today and enjoy the Caldo. We love you. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, folks.